We're going to dive into another Browns topic that is brought to us by Mazda, moving the game forward. For those of you who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it, because these moments do more than win. They push what's possible, reminding us to go that extra yard, shift into that extra gear, and keep the game moving forward. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning, and just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to every Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. All right, guys, defending Lamar Jackson is no easy task, and the Browns obviously have a difficult decision to make on whether they blitz Lamar, play coverage. I had a specific question, though, and Dustin, we'll start with you on this.
Sure.
Outside of Myles Garrett, so Myles Garrett eliminated from contention in this question. We obviously know he'd be the answer if he was available to be chosen. Who's the most important defensive player on the Browns this Sunday against the Ravens in effort to stop Lamar, Henry, and that high-powered Ravens offense?
Ooh, that is a good question. How about I go Schlesinger? How about I go Schlesinger? The guy in the middle of the defense. He's a rookie. First time playing against an MVP in the NFL on the road. One of the most dynamic players of all time in Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to have a tough day. Not a tough day, but a tough task, tough challenge. You know, to get guys lined up, to be where he's supposed to be, to continue to play well as he did this past weekend, I think, against the Bengals. I thought he played really well in that game. And, yeah, it's gonna be like a welcome to the NFL kind of game, I think, for him, in terms of like this. He's gonna see a guy that I'm sure he watched Sunday Night Football. I mean, if you watch Sunday Night Football, you gotta be thinking, man, I gotta play against that dude this week. Yeah, well, you gotta play against both those guys this year, and Josh Allen as well. So I'll say Carson Schlesinger.
It's a good answer. I think it's the right answer.
Yeah, this is gonna be a rough one, man. Here's the problem that you got when you play the Ravens. Like, so they have everything that can threaten you on multiple levels. It doesn't mean that all 4 or 5 of them gonna get it going at one time. But what happens is, first of all, they're very multiple when it comes to their formations. So they can run a lot of heavy sets. They got a really big fullback. They got Derrick Henry in the run game downhill, so he can get it going. You know, that's just a challenge in itself, being 240, just running around doing that. Plus, they got the fullback leading through. They got Mark Andrews that can hurt you at tight end, so they'll leak out with him and do different things. Zay Flowers is a shifty guy. They can throw screens out to him. They can get him on crossing routes. He's kind of one of those dudes that's really quick, twitchy. And then you got Lamar Jackson, who throws a pretty deep ball. He also is dynamic in the read option. You got to look for that. And when all else fails, he can just pull it down and take off and run past everybody. So at every level of the field, they threaten you with something. So you could be doing great for 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 plays in a row, and then all of a sudden, one of those plays that you ain't really looking for is going to gas you. I think the biggest thing is going to be, I'm going to say Mason Graham, because if I'm the Ravens, I'm going to have to make him a victim. I'm going to double team him. I'm going to see if he's going to have gap integrity. I want to see if his rush lanes, is he rushing too far out and Lamar Jackson takes off in the middle. I want to see how he handles getting double teamed, and then Derrick Henry is coming at you and you got to tackle him. I want to figure out what type of ball player he is, because if not, I ain't even worried about Myles Garrett. We'll take you out. We'll spread you out east and west, and we'll go right at the heart of the defense. Another thing is, too, I mean, that's where Carson Schlesinger is at. If Mason Graham is in his lap, it's kind of hard to get off blocks and make plays. So I'm going to say Mason Graham, but it's going to be a difficult task, especially when you're dealing with 2 different rookies, and they got the ability to have the eye candy out here, and you bite, like Dustin said. When you're a young player, you bite on a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, so those 2 rookies, I would go with Mason Graham to kind of follow the middle of the defense.
I think you're right, both you guys. The terrifying thing is, both are playing in their second NFL game against, as you said, one of the most dynamic and prolific offensive talents we've seen. So, man, you talk about welcome to the NFL.
Right.
I love talking to veterans and asking veterans, what was your welcome to the NFL moment? Every player has one. I think that they're both going to get their welcome to the NFL moments on Sunday. This is I'm not saying they're not up to it, but like you said, this is a monumental ask for 2 rookies starting their second games in the NFL.
Interestingly, though, in my mind, and the reason I've been looking at my phone for the last 2 minutes was not to ignore you guys, but in my mind, I was saying, I feel like the Browns have done well against Lamar in terms of limiting his runs. And I started looking through the game logs, and it's a little hard on the phone, but earlier
I feel like you're right, though.
Earlier in his career, he had some big, like 100-yard games rushing against the Browns. But and you see the numbers there, 747 yards in 13 games. If you look at the last 3 years, he's played against the Browns 5 times. He missed a game in 22, I believe. 2, 3, 4, yeah, in 22. So his last 5 games against the Browns, I think he only has, just trying to remember from what I just looked at, I want to say roughly like 150, 160
Combined.
yards in the last 5 games, which is, for him, that's
They've
not
bottled
good
him
at
up
all.
then.
So, yeah, I think the most he's had against them in his last 5 is like either maybe 60 yards, maybe 64, or might have even been like 59. Like he had a couple of games, although that's not really fair because there was one game where he only played a little bit. So really it's 4 games in the last 3 years and he had like 100. That's like 40 yards a game. If you hold Lamar to 40, 50 yards, I feel like you did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Because, he has some games where he's 80, 90, 100, 120, where he's just killing you the whole game.
In a lot of those games, or maybe in some of those games, he was the Ravens' run game early on. Now, Derrick Henry is their running game.
Right. Like his rushing yards against the Browns last year were like, they were fine, but they didn't blow your mind.
We've done well against Henry, too, haven't we?
Yeah,
I can remember putting a total lid on him.
Well, when he was
times.
in Tennessee 2 years ago, he had a terrible game.
Even, I think, against the Ravens.
I'll double check it while you guys talk.
I'm pulling it up right now, Jay. In his career against the Cleveland Browns,
look what
just
he's
like last
with
year.
Baltimore
Yeah.
against us. I feel like one game it was like 9 yards on 11 carries for 9 yards or something, and I could be misremembering that.
In 7 games against the Browns in his career, he averages 56.4 yards.
That's a win.
And
Right, but just look at the
one Tennessee game was. He got completely bottled up.
Right.
Yeah, he got nothing.
Look at last year, Mike. What did he do?
And look, if you can hold him to 56 and Lamar to 40, and they rush combined for under 100, I think you got a chance to win this game.
Well, yeah, I mean,
he had
better.
I mean, he was very good against Cleveland last year.
Okay, I'm remembering then the Tennessee game where we locked him down.
Yeah.
In the first game last year, the one in which the Browns won, he had 11 carries for 73 yards and a touchdown. You could live with that. In the Week 17 matchup, or Week 18, 17
I only get it
season,
11 times.
I know the Browns did not play a ton of starters at the end of the season, but he had 20 carries for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Was he going for a milestone in that game? Why would you?
I don't think so. Baltimore didn't have the 1 seed. They had to win to make the playoffs. They took
Well,
that
the
game
Browns
seriously,
not
the Browns.
playing. I mean, the Browns, they didn't purposely sit guys. Why would they purposely rest guys?
I don't know. What I was
Anyways.
asking was, like, was he chasing 1,000 yards? Was he chasing something where he's getting a personal contract bonus?
He finished last season with 1,900 yards.
Yeah, so maybe they thought, hey, we could get him to 2,000.
Let's be clear, they ain't got no advantage. We parsing words here.
Yeah.
They ain't got.
They played against them that one game in Tennessee. They were great.
Yeah, locked him up.
To go against Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry is a nightmare. I don't like. It's just,
you're right.
Because what kills you is not the 90 yards. It's a 3rd and 5. Lamar Jackson gets out first down. Now you got to see him again for 3 more downs. It's like we got to find a way to get off the field, and this is going to be one of them Leroy games. The best way for the Browns defense to be helped or look good against the Ravens offense is for our offense to have some clock management.
Keep it 40 minutes.
We're not giving them the ball. When you keep somebody like Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow on the sideline, they get antsy.
I think that's a big part of the reason why
the
reason the Browns played so well in the second half defensively is because I think Joe Burrow and the offense was completely out of rhythm because the Browns offense had the ball for those crazy long drives twice in the first. There were 2 times. There was a time in the 1 minute, end of the first quarter, the beginning of the second quarter, and then end of the game end of the first half through the beginning of the second half, outside of 2 plays, the Bengals got the ball with 30 seconds left. I think Burrow went twice, 30 minutes and then 40 minutes without the ball. It's hard to stay in rhythm that way.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They had 1 first down in the second half.
Right. But I think part of the reason, obviously the Browns did great, but I think part of it was the offense, ran the clock, even without being able to really run the ball.
Well, their passing game is kind of an extended run game.
Yeah,
it's the 3 and 4 and 6 yard passes that kill you. It's like death by a million cuts.
They can. So I see what Jay's saying. Like, look, they can win. Like the Browns, the way they play, they can win. They just have to play like. When I used to watch, Dustin knows this. One of the when you watch the championship team for O State back in the day, they would play so close to the vest that it was games where you're like, they about to lose this game. They about to lose this game. But no, you know what they did? Their punting game was crazy. They never missed no field goals. They got all the turnovers, and they didn't turn the ball over. And they would get the rock, run it for 7 minutes. The other team was on the sideline. When you play that complimentary football, and you sitting there and you're like, dang, they done milked this thing all the way down. We ain't getting no turnovers. And they got the points. You can win them. But you can't you gotta play that way consistently, and it has to be in your DNA. Like, so I'm willing to Tressel probably hammered that home.
Oh yeah. No doubt.
We can't drop no footballs. We ain't put none of that. Special teams was like starters played special teams. Like, so yes, they can win. But they have to play a brand of football, which I think they have to do a better job of hammering home a little bit.
Yeah, and also you have to live on the edge. You just can't make a mistake.
Yeah,
You can keep the ball
margin
for 8 minutes, but if
razor thin.
razor.
Browns got to play a great game.
Almost perfect. Bull.
Yeah.
I feel like they had to. I felt the same thing going into Cincinnati. For them to win, I felt they had to play a perfect game. No missed kicks, no turnovers.
Right.
It came close, but close
But this
isn't
is
going to
a
do it.
better overall team, and it's on the road, so it's even tougher.